Hey guys, it's Will. So, are you tired of missing out on the next big thing in space tech in the stock market? Well, today we're diving into KULR, a cutting edge company that is revolutionizing the way that energy storage systems work through carbon fiber thermal management. Think about like Tesla meeting AI. This is a company that I think could be huge in the future. And before we jump in, I want you guys to hit subscribe. We have a lot of viewers recently, and I noticed that not everybody is staying up to date, and they're trying to find my channel after we do the coverage. So make sure to subscribe. Now, this is first thing I get into it. We sold Rigetti stock. We were in it this morning, and we just sold. Rigetti is a quantum computing company, and we got back in. We just can't get enough of the Rigetti spaghetti, I guess. And portfolio's down a little bit today, about 5% in total. We're up, I think, about 30% on the week, which is amazing. But let's take a look at what is KULR stock. So we can see our Stockmate space tech companies. This is a company we've covered quite a lot on the channel, but just recently, we've seen it really push up about 19% today. Now, there's a few things that are really critical about KULR stock. The first thing is we like to see this recovery. We'd like to see that it pushes up. But the thing about KULR stock and what you really want to watch out for is that KULR stock is based on technology that is impacting the space industry. And the technology that they're making is, for example, on a cellular level, making batteries more efficient. On a For batteries, they're creating carbon composite, highly temperature resistant, that can endure extreme temperatures for space. And they work with SpaceX. As far as we could tell, there is a new launch in 2026 they're a part of. And they also have Army contracts, Navy contracts, and other government contracts, Department of Defense. They're even working with drone companies as well. So let's just take a look here. There's two things that I like, and then there's some things that look a little concerning. So we've seen it absolutely spike up. And what comes up very fast, obviously, is going to experience volatility. And that's kind of what we saw the past few days. We saw it push up to $5.50 from what was around 30 cents. And now it's pulled back down to what was $2.90 before recovering today to $3.60. Now, if we kind of drop it down to more of a 1 month on, let's say, like a 1 hour view, and we kind of get a better look, you can see it's at a critical level. And there's a few reasons why. First reason why is it did break this previous resistance. You can see it broke that previous resistance, which was indicating that it was, if it was going to hold there, it would continue this uptrend. Now, the other thing that happened is now it's starting to reach this moving average. And sometimes, not always, but the moving average can act as a resistance. There's one other thing that is working against it, and that is this newly formed trend. See this trend from the top down? It's starting to look kind of consistent. So today we see a break up that is nice, but still, it's not quite breakouts. It's not really looking like a breakout. In fact, if we take this and we also look at the lowering support here, can almost identify this new downtrend. And that is not a good sign. That looks like, oh, possibly could see it sail down to this previous support, $2 or $2 or lower. Now that would be pretty extreme bear case. I'm not quite expecting that to happen. In fact, I think that we're maybe just a little late to the party here and that it is going to break out and continue up. That's what it looks like on the technicals. And that's what I would hope would happen based on all of the contracts and all of the amazing tech that we're going to get into. And we'll take a look at some of the financials as well. The last thing that's looking good about this is that it just recently broke up above this EMA. Most times, this EMA, this blue line, acts as a resistance or a support. You could say in this case it was a support, in this case it's a resistance getting rejected. We just saw it push up, and it pushed up a fair amount above. Now it's retesting this level along with the SMA. So now if we see it push up, into that $4 range, then we're looking like we're back into what could be a continuation of the trend. So, but right now it is a critical time. You see some more confirmation if you're really believing in the company in that medium term outlook, then right now looks like, hey, we're getting some confirmation that it's still alive, that it's still kicking, and we might see it continue up. And if it breaks above this level, that's much greater potential for us to continue up. Now, outside of that, and this is a play we do sometimes, but outside of that, I want to actually bring in even more advanced technicals that some people say are speculative. I personally use them all the time and they work well for me, which is the Fibonacci sequence. See the Fibonacci sequence everywhere, and it's in life everywhere. And I think that I see it play out in the stock market all the time. So let's take a look. How do you do Fibonacci? Well, first, we're going to go down from the peak, okay? We're going to see this downtrend. You see this downtrend? We're going to go to the lowest low, which we saw, which was right here. And then we're going to bring it up to where we believe it would make its next run to. So in this case, let me make sure that I'm selecting the right Fibonacci. There we go. So we go from the lowest point and we go to where we think it'd make its run to. I think the next level that it's going to have to hit here is this previous support, this previous it's kind of a previous resistance zone / previous support you can see right there. And so for it to hit that zone, should be right here. And that's a little less bullish. We're really bullish. We're actually looking more like up into this range. Okay, so that's kind of the bullish outlook. They say that the golden ratio is this 0.618. Okay, this is the point where they say most executions of a trade should happen if you believe it's going up in the Fibonacci retracements here. So you can see if it goes in this golden ratio and it holds in this golden ratio, that would indicate that according to Fibonacci looks like a buy. And so again, that even solidifies more what we're looking at here, that this level is key. If it breaks into it, then potentially we could see this would be like a pretty good trade. This would be great. And then the amazing, it went perfectly with the Fibonacci, would be up in these levels of the $5 range. In that near term, looks like would be in the next, week or so, maybe into mid to late next week, if that was the bull case. So guys, I make mistakes all the time and I'm not always 100% correct. And you guys should know that you should never invest based on solely what I say. I mean, it's taken me a lot of years to get to the point where I can do analysis and come up right more times than I'm wrong. And to be honest, there will be times where I'm wrong. And I just want to tell you guys that too, because a lot of people are saying, looking at my analysis, like for example, Rigetti yesterday, and I'm not saying this to brag, but we covered it pre-market and we said, look at this recovery that is most likely going to happen. It recovered 30%. And some people said, I bought and I made thousands, or someone said they bought with like 10K and they made like 3 or 4K or something like that. And they were saying, thank you. And I love that. I love to see you guys win, but just realize too, that it's your decision. I'm just here to help you be able to be more educated and be able to see the markets in the way that I see them. And I can only speak from, how I see them in my own experience. And I'll share with you guys and keep you updated on what I do. And, I think that you guys enjoy that. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Do consider subscribing again. So technicals, key level, would love to see it break above. That would indicate further uptrend. Long term looks bullish. Short term, we're seeing a lot of volatility. So let's get into really quick the KULR tech. I'm just going to jump right into the website. I mean, we know that they are working with space companies in the battery market. We know they're working with NASA. We know they're working with Lockheed Martin. We're seeing the Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation, sustainable energy storage, and thermal management solutions. This is kind of the future. And the reason why, I don't know if you guys seen Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab's a company, they're using more of that carbon composite, some carbon fiber in their rockets. And I think that's so innovative because carbon fiber is strong, but it's also very lightweight. And they're using that same kind of carbon fiber, carbon composite into a lot of the systems they're building for thermal management, which I'm very bullish on. You can see they do energy storage and transportation, passive propagation resistance, and there's some other things in here as well. The thing that they recently did that was out of character, so they see their collaboration with U.S. Army to evaluate vibration reduction. Okay, so that was not just drones, but also the Apache and I think it's Black Hawk helicopters. That was some military stuff. But the thing that was kind of out of question, not even in the space industry, not in the batteries, not in the tech or the thermal management or the AI, but it was the Bitcoin that they recently acquired. They acquired 217 Bitcoin, basically saying that I believe up to 90% of their surplus cash will be stored in Bitcoin, which to me, I love to see. Personally, I'm a Bitcoin, I wouldn't say maximalist, but I would say that I've seen that if you bought Bitcoin 5 years ago, or if you held cash, buying a house today is 94% easier if you have Bitcoin. And I see it appreciating over the US dollar. And that's just the way that I see it. So I think this move is good. A lot of people said it's hype. Um, the Bitcoin Treasury strategy is allocating up to 90% of its surplus cash to Bitcoin. Okay, so just keeping that in mind. Obviously, they'll have their operating capital. Obviously, that's something, but you have to think. It's nice. It's capitalizing on the hype. There's no doubt. But at the same time, just from a standpoint, like as a business owner myself, I say, hey, yeah, I would rather hold. Like they selected Coinbase as their prime platform for custody, self-custodial wallet. Yeah, I would rather hold Bitcoin than cash. And that's just me. I like to have both. I like to have cash. But when you look at the appreciation, it just is a kind of smart business decision. It just kind of makes sense. And on top of that, if you look at how this is moving, there is a lot of SEC approval. They file with the SEC, but you see that this is moving towards maybe a move that could be potentially good. And I'd love to talk more about some of the digital assets. And we have something actually inside of Stockmate, guys, for you. This is inside our Stockmate community where we trade live each and every day. If you want to check out some of the learning, we have a digital asset playbook, and we talk very deeply about digital assets, crypto, and it's free to our Stockmate members inside of Stockmate. And you also get to watch me trade live. Our next trading live is in 22 hours, so keep that in mind. It's that second link down below. We got a New Year sale there as well. So again, getting into the tech, it just looks good. You see some of the innovations that are happening. I like the tech. Now we saw some contracts. See, they got SafeCase, fiber thermal interface, but we saw some contracts as well with U.S. Army, Navy, and Department of Defense. And the other one was Para-Zero drones. So outside of that, KULR also has some room to grow when we look down here on their financials. You see, their net income was negative 2 million, which some people would be concerned, and I totally get that. When we look at their year over year growth, though, you see the revenue's up 4%, net income up 63% year over year, net profit margins up 65%. Operating income was negative 1.7 million. So again, operating there at a deficit, but it's up 66% from the previous year. They were struggling with earnings 2023 until 2024. They're finally able to beat both their earnings per share and their revenue in quarter 3 and into quarter 4 here, June and September 2024. We'll see what happens with the next earnings. And speaking of drone tech, look at that. Red Cat Holdings. Got a video coming out on that soon. It's up 16% today. So the financials look okay. They look not perfect. They're burning a little bit of cash, and that's something you look for. The thing that we saw too outside, just jumping back from the financials into the actual news, was you can look here. This is on NASDAQ. KULR Technology Group to launch KULR One space battery on the SpaceX a rideshare mission. So I mean, with Starlink, with you got Falcon Heavy, you got some of the biggest rockets and fastest turnaround on the rockets. SpaceX is the most innovative space company in the world, and KULR Technology set to launch the KULR One space battery on a SpaceX rideshare mission in 2026. That's quite interesting. That's a project that I think it's going to be good. The potential negatives, according to this AI article from NASDAQ, is that it's forward-looking statements. There's some uncertainty. It is 2026, so we'll see what happens. Despite the promising announcement, its third-party battery cells and technology could pose risks if suppliers fail to meet expectations or quality standards, which is actually quite valid. As we could see, SpaceX, if something's not matching up, they go and create it themselves. So, not to say they would just completely beat out KULR technology and not go with them at all, but hey, that happens with SpaceX a lot. But aside from that, it looks good. Technicals look good. Again, we're at that key level. Financials look okay. You're buying what could be, and I like that, but it's still got some room to grow. We'll see if this recovery is a continuation. I like how it's looking. I like how it actually is bouncing. It's not just selling right off, but it is holding this level. Now it's at this key level. Really, what we should have seen was that it bounced right there, but it's just a little bit, I guess, less healthy, a little more volatile than what we might expect. But that's okay. Hey, it happens. Now, outside of the technicals, the financials, fundamentals, and all that, I'd say that I'll be keeping you guys updated. Make sure to subscribe. But the other thing is this AI stock. If you guys are curious about space tech, as we are here, Starlink recently partnered with AMD. And AMD stock is a stock that this is closing this weekend on Sunday. That if you buy StockMate, the second link down below, within the time frame of our current sale, and you enroll to watch me trade live each day, guess what? If AMD hits $160 per share, then you get StockMate for free. It has to hit $160 a share by March 20th. So that's our current sale, and it is closing soon because I can't keep this open forever, because the only way I'm able to do this is because I have a position in AMD that if it hits 160, then I'm going to be doing quite well. But I can't keep this open forever. We've had this sale open for the past week, and it's going to be closing. But again, if you look at AMD stock and you look at some of the growth, they just partnered with Starlink. They're a chip company. They're making the microchips for the Starlink satellites. Again, they have to continue this uptrend and bounce. And if they do, you get StockMate free. So again, there's restrictions that apply. Check out the website down below. It's that second link down below. Make sure to read the restrictions. But other than that, we are keeping that sale alive for the next 3 days. So again, guys, appreciate you all. Hopefully you have an amazing rest of your day. Do consider hitting that like button. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.